Hi guys, my name is Nicole D. Miller and welcome to Word of the Day Wednesdays. You guys know I am an author and I have a few books published. The latest one is Stories for the Urban Soul, a compilation of short stories, novellas, and poetry depicting Black characters dealing with everyday life issues, from social injustices to heartbreak to parenting to college life to friendships and sisterhood, a host of topics that are relatable, heartfelt, encouraging with a spiritual foundation. So I love writing stories that depict Black culture and also spirituality, two of my favorite topics. And this book was my first hand at that. And I'm in the process of completing my novel, which I'm super excited about. Which actually will piggyback off of a few of the stories in here. So definitely stay tuned and check it out. If you'd like to learn more, please visit NicoleDMiller.com. All right, let's get started. Welcome to Word of the Day Wednesdays, where every week I piggyback off of my blog. This week's blog is World Traveler in Full Effect. So, if you guys follow me on social media, particularly Instagram, my hashtag is HCOHB in case you don't know. I definitely post about my travels. I love to travel, especially in bohemian type settings. I love beaches. I love the sun. I love how the sun feels on my back. So the latest opportunity that I had to travel was on my birthday. I went to Key West. Partly because at this time, I do not have the COVID shot. Sorry for you pro-COVID shot people. But I needed somewhere where I could go where I didn't need the shot. And I definitely needed a break. I needed to relax. I needed to unwind. I felt like God was speaking to me about the need to rest in the midst of the grind, right? So I'm in a grind season. A lot of my people are in a grind season, but that can really wear you out if you're not paying attention to your mental health. So I definitely was so glad I got to get away. I went to Key West for my birthday. Just turned the big 39. So last year of the 30s turn up for sure. And had an amazing time. But the key thing that I talk about in my blog is that this was a solo trip. One of my BFFs told me that they don't call it like traveling alone. They call you like a solo traveler. So it's got a cute little name to it now, solo traveler. And I'll be 100% honest, even though this trip had been on my heart to kind of do alone, I had some options, for people to come along, and I did almost cave. But I was inspired by a woman that I esteem who was traveling alone, and I was like, okay, I need to do this. She's doing this, I need to do this. So I did it, and I feel the better for it. So if you're kind of like weighing the whole solo traveler situation, you're not sure if that's like your zhuzh, I encourage you to do it. Because I really thought like, well, what if this is my last chance, right? Like, what if next year I'm like bogged down with kids and I don't have this freedom and I don't have this independence? So I just really wanted to lay hold of that. So I did it. It was so restful. My only regret is that I didn't take another day. And I think when you're traveling, you don't think about the time and effort it takes to get there, right? So for me, I was catching a couple planes. I mean, there's just stress included in traveling. You just can't get around it. It's really rare for there not to be stress. And everybody and their mama had the same idea. The airport was so packed. I was like, why are y'all here at 5 a.m., 6 a.m.? What is going on? Everybody's trying to get away. So we all had the same idea. So it was like crazy long lines and all this and that. But I made it. I had a really good place I stayed at. It was kind of like a resort feel because it was all inclusive. They had restaurants on site. The beach was across the street. I will say it was that little island is anti-driving. Like there's not a lot of spaces to park in. So I didn't really benefit in that way. But for me, being a solo traveler and just an independent single in general, I definitely felt like I need a car. Like, I just can't be out here without a car. I can hear my mom's voice in my head. Like, girl, you ain't, first of all, you going somewhere by yourself. And second of all, you ain't got no car. Like, so I barely used the car, but I just needed it for me to feel secure. But it was a wonderful time. I had a wonderful time. I got to visit Ernest Hemingway's house. Apparently he was there, lived there. Judy Blume lived there, another famous writer. So I kind of researched a little bit of the history there and was super encouraged to just find out the wealth of writers and writing careers that were birthed out of that vicinity. So, but in my blog, I kind of share about just my history with traveling. You know, I definitely did not grow up traveling. You know, the furthest we went was to like Six Flags for the summer. I do remember going to Philadelphia to visit family members, but honestly, that was probably it. And I had one trip to Canada when I was in 8th grade, and that was a big deal. And I remember seeing the Phantom of the Opera. But that was it. Like, there were no like family, you know, trips out of state or out of the country for real, for real. There was no passport, and, you know, cruises were like not even heard of. It was just kind of something you watched on TV. So to be immersed in this world of traveling is a dream come true. And I just share in my blog that I was a late bloomer. I'm a late bloomer in a lot of ways, but traveling is definitely one of them. And just seeing God do so much on the back end that maybe others get on the front end, and still being young enough to enjoy it. So if you want to learn more about my travels, definitely check out the blog at NicoleDMiller.com. I do want to let you guys know about an upcoming event I'll be at that I'm super excited about. You may have heard me talk about this time or two before, and it's the Masleray celebration. So it's this Saturday, Front Stage Theater. If you're in Cleveland, it's in Cleveland Heights. Starts at 6 p.m., $10 ticket. Go to Eventbrite. All the information is on @Masleray, spelled Maslarae. And you can also visit my Instagram if you want to look for the flyer. It'll be in there, which is @HTOHB. So I'm looking forward to turning up there. There's a special announcement. My good friend Alicia Ellis is going to be debuting her book. And so just a good time all around. I definitely have an author indie expo coming up in May, which you'll hear more about. And I do have my latest podcast interview, which is available on my website, that I got to do with Cindy Warren. She was amazing. You guys, check out the podcast. I feel like talking to Cindy really opened my eyes to even just how I've been able to flow in this vein that I'm in now. And she helped me to kind of see that it's really been a step-by-step process. So the name of the podcast is Just Take the Next Step. So that is on my website as well. At least the link is NicoleDMiller.com. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love, love, love hearing from you. So feel free to email me, NicoleDMiller1983@gmail.com. And you can visit my Facebook page, facebook.com/HTOHB, Instagram @HTOHB, and once in a while, Twitter @NicoleDMiller. All right. Thank you for joining in. Have a good evening.